Marital breakdown follows a predictable, escalating pathology rather than a single, spontaneous event. The visible arguments couples have are surface-level symptoms. These outbursts mask deep, unaddressed emotional wounds caused by micro-failures in communication and gradual emotional distancing. To treat these fractures, the SQSF framework employs a multi-layered clinical architecture that synthesizes advanced psychological research with established Islamic ethical principles. Traditional marital conflict often collapses into a structural flaw, where husband and wife treat each other as opponents. In this adversarial dynamic, each party prioritizes winning the argument over preserving the union. Effective mediation requires the counselor to restructure the geometry of the relationship. Instead of two spouses facing off against each other, the clinician realigns the couple to face the conflict as a third-party entity. The objective is to position both partners on the same side of the table, uniting them against the shared threats of miscommunication and emotional distance. This geometric realignment is a mandatory prerequisite. A clinician cannot accurately diagnose the system until the combatants agree to drop their weapons and become collaborators. Novice counselors frequently make a critical diagnostic error by attempting to treat presenting behaviors instead of the root causes driving those behaviors. The SQSF three-layer counseling framework uses an iceberg model to bypass this error. The visible tip is Layer 1, behavior, the external actions observable during a conflict. Consider a standard clinical case. The husband spends his evenings scrolling on his phone, while the wife claims he refuses to talk to her. The husband justifies his behavior as a necessary decompression after working to provide for the family. Both spouses view their behavior as logical. But mapping Layer 2 reveals her complaints stem from isolation, and his phone use masks feeling unappreciated. Layer 3 hidden needs fuel this. She seeks connection, while he views provision as love. This case represents a love language mismatch, which requires a different intervention than a simple time management conflict. Clinicians follow a strict procedural rule. They formulate a hypothesis based on observation, ask the client directly, and confirm the specific need before proceeding. Intervening at Layer 1 yields only temporary compliance. Diagnosing and treating the emotional starvation at Layer 3 builds structural, lasting behavioral change. When Layer 3 needs go unmet for years, micro-conflicts scale into macro-system failure. The conflict-to-divorce cascade tracks this decline. Small triggers quickly plunge couples into a communication breakdown as shouting or silence. Without intervention, cyclical patterns force a descent into Stage 6, where spouses remain entirely emotionally disconnected. Destructive communication patterns accelerate this breakdown. Clinical markers like harsh criticism, blatant contempt, and defensiveness act as high-velocity drivers toward separation. The SQSF model replaces destructive behaviors with constructive alternatives derived from psychological research and Quranic directives for kind treatment. Vague criticism becomes specific complaints. Contempt is countered with respect. Defensiveness is replaced by responsibility. For stonewalling, when a partner completely shuts down, the protocol requires a mandatory 30-minute rule. When physiological arousal peaks, either partner can call for a 30-minute pause to calm down. This rule is a temporary, healthy timeout for self-regulation. It is not an excuse to flee or weaponize silence as punishment. Returning to the table after 30 minutes to resolve the issue is non-negotiable. Arresting this cascade early prevents the relationship from reaching the final stages of suspicion. Because the timeline to divorce is highly predictable, it is mechanically preventable. Before applying these models, a counselor must assess the structural integrity of the union through a formal triage phase. This 10-axis radar chart is the Advanced Counseling Diagnostic Map. It measures the relationship across critical domains, including trust, finance, and family boundaries. Clinicians score axes to categorize risk. Green and yellow zones require standard training. A skewed map signifies the orange zone, requiring intensive mediation. But extreme spikes turn the chart red, triggering an immediate safety alert. The red category involves explicit dangers: intimate partner violence, coercive control over finances or movement, and severe psychological abuse. In these scenarios, the clinical directive is uncompromising: The mandate to repair the relationship is terminated to protect the individual. The protocol immediately pivots toward individual safety assessments, medical and psychological support, and legal safeguarding. Couple sessions are strictly contraindicated here. Both professional ethics and the Islamic principle of preserving life dictate that mediation cannot occur where physical or psychological safety is compromised. A counselor's highest ethical duty is distinguishing between a fractured relationship that needs saving and a victim who requires immediate rescuing. Once a couple is safely triaged, the counselor guides them through identifying their Layer 3 needs, arresting their communication cascades, and realigning their goals. This process culminates in the 7R family repair model. The couple learns to recognize triggers, regulate their emotions, and repair historical wounds, leading to a final structural rebuild. Rebuilding requires concrete structural artifacts to ensure longevity. Emotional promises must be backed by actionable systems. To protect against modern infidelity risks, couples establish explicit digital boundaries, defining shared expectations for social media usage and private communications. To eliminate power imbalances, they implement a financial transparency sheet, ensuring that major monetary decisions are treated as joint responsibilities. Finally, they ratify a family repair contract. This agreement ensures that the word divorce is never used as a threat to gain leverage during an argument. These clinical tools find their ultimate purpose within the Islamic framework of family ethics established earlier. Within this structure, marriage is viewed as an amana, a sacred trust. It is a relationship designed to be a source of tranquility and mercy, requiring active daily maintenance. The objective of advanced counseling is moving beyond the marital war, providing both partners the structural architecture needed to protect that sacred trust.